There are very few cars that I would be willing to do that for, and the Jaguar is one of them.
Wow.
I mean, that motor is just,
that car is
just
great.
every time driving it around, just,
Yeah.
just so cool. I believe we need to issue a few apologies from last week's podcast. I mistakenly called that one episode 63, whereas it was really 62.
Oh my goodness.
I know, they're big drama on YouTube. We got a lot of angry comments about that.
Did we actually?
No.
Okay.
Also, apologies because our microphones just decided to not work. I think it was because it was Friday and they didn't realize they had to come in on a Friday to record. They were checked out. They were off for the week.
Yeah, it was in protest.
Thankfully, we are pro utilists, and I have a backup that still decided to record. So for some reason, these two mics didn't, but our third mic did. So that, thank goodness, because when I put that footage into the editor to edit, because I had a lot of things going on at the end of that week.
Did you say the F word?
Probably. I think there's a high chance I did. But I was like... And thankfully, I was able to clean up the audio enough and remove some echo and stuff. And it sounded okay, I like to think.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking of while I was recently using the restroom is I hope that there's somebody out there who listens to the Daily Motor podcast who somehow stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
Only the audio version, like through Apple Podcasts or whatever, and has never seen us and just has this idea of like what we look like. Because there's a few podcasts like that I've listened to before that like I've never seen the hosts.
Yeah, potentially.
And I just have this idea of what they look like in my head. Oh, are you bringing those comments up? Because I have them up as well.
Oh, do you? Oh, yeah. From the Porsche video?
From the
I was going to say, we have some other apologies to issue.
Sure. Okay, let's just dig right into it. Welcome to episode 63. We're back, and we've got some... We really ought to make this more of a regular segment of reading the nasty comments that are left to us on our videos.
The only thing that would make me not want to do that is it would encourage people to leave more nasty comments.
That's true, and
because they'd want to
you
get
also
their comment
would
read.
have to read them all the time, and that would make you sad. Because
Yeah.
you generally don't
I don't even
do
read
comments very often. I read all the comments.
I don't.
But you don't.
I pick one out of every like 20 videos. I'll click on and read the comments, and this was the video that I decided to click on, of course.
However, I will say before you get into them, yes, our like ratio is a little bit lower on this video, and yes, we've gotten some nasty comments, but that actually helps the video do well.
Yeah. So
it makes us more money when people leave nasty comments.
Yeah. So just to preface this is our Porsche 911 Carrera T review, and what a lot of people still don't understand is that Charlie and I's reviews are more about our initial impressions and our feelings on the cars.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily about the numbers and the specifics and the facts. But don't worry, there are plenty of other channels on YouTube that give you all of that copy and paste stuff. And feel free to get off of our page and go over to theirs and watch their reviews. We won't be offended.
Well, not only that, but there are outlets like Motor Trend and like Haggerty that have hundreds of thousands of dollars of budget to take these vehicles to a proper track with a proper race car driver and like put them through paces and get instrumented testing and all these things. Go to those channels for like the nitty gritty, like this car can get to 0 to 60.3 seconds faster than this one and blah, blah, blah. We're going to tell you exactly what it feels like to get into the car, to touch the things, and to experience the vehicle.
Yeah, so, and most of the time, it's understood. We go out and drive a Honda Pilot too quickly around a corner, squeal tires, and laugh and point out that the rear load space is too high and whatever. People don't mind. They like hanging out with us.
Yeah.
But on a car like a Porsche 911, sometimes it gets a little bit misunderstood.
Let's just say our core audience is a bit more Elantra N than it is Porsche 911.
Porsche 911. So anyways, Carrera T, which at the time we didn't realize was actually
Germany spec.
Well, there's a couple of things we didn't realize. For one, it's a Euro spec car, but I cut out all the things that we said about that. Excuse me. We also didn't realize that the Carrera T is actually the cheapest manual 992 that you can get.
Yes.
You can no longer get a manual in the base 911.
Which is one of those things that, like, yes, if someone put a gun to my head and said, like, can you buy a base manual 911 anymore, I'd probably say no, because like I'd dig into the recesses of my mind and remember that was a big thing with the 992. You're not thinking
about that when you're...
Yeah.
Anyways, top comment. Well, to comment at the top because Charlie replied to it. Didn't learn much from this review. The evaluation of the car was not adequately structured.
I replied to this?
Yes. And so someone else replied and said, agreed. What is even going on here? And then you replied with a sad face.
Oh,
Charlie
it's because
put a
the
sad
person
face.
who said agreed, what's going on here was my friend. He's the one I was on the cruise with.
Oh, okay.
So he was
Okay.
he was busting balls.
He was
But
trolling.
yes,
That's
the first
funny.
comment was mean.
Someone do an enthusiast count, please. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Where are the
You said there were
mean
more
ones?
mean comments than I realized were on this video. So
Here we go. Came for the car, but was astounded at the amateur comments from the reviewers. You guys got to get your facts right. Simple spec check could establish that.
Yeah.
Lots of things you say are either missing or plain wrong.
Like?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, they didn't go on.
No.
They just pointed that out.
Someone said, "Are you guys gay?"
Oh.
No.
Although I might
could see
consider
how-
blurring the line for the 911. Like if someone was like, you can have a 911 Courier
That's
T,
fair.
you just
That
have
is
to
fair.
poke a penis.
Here's the one that is the saddest. If you guys are serious about doing this long term, then you really need to
yeah,
step
I read
up your
this one.
game. That was a pretty awful review of this car. Your content and value is nothing compared to what is out there.
Right.
Well, give you a shot. Get off our page. Here's one. Did you really say that a Lexus was more enjoyable to drive than this?
Yeah, slow speed.
Honestly, I watched it for the car, but this was difficult to watch. You guys need to learn your facts. You can get a no-cost optional backseat, for instance, not mentioned.
Okay.
In parentheses, not mentioned.
Sure.
The base is 107K, which I actually don't think is right.
No, that sounds way too low.
Yeah, that's too low.
Yeah, we
so
checked that.
this person might live in Canada or Europe. No, Canada would be
much more. I don't know of anywhere in the world where you could pay $107,000. Maybe like if you live next to the factory in Germany, someone
so
named
this person
Hans.
obviously doesn't live in America. Oh, maybe
Unless he's referring to a base
the
car.
base 911.
Yeah,
that's possible. That could be 107. Okay, so whatever. This. Oh yeah. Sorry, I should have kept reading before I said that. The base is 107. This is 118 starting. Yeah, that sounds right.
Uh-huh.
Not a 20K difference, as you say. It's 11K. Okay, well, whatever.
Right.
And did you even know about all the performance goodies standard over a base?
No.
A huge value added.
What
here,
are all the performance goodies?
Not even, he didn't say. A huge value added here and not even mentioned in those 26 minutes. Here's the part. Here's my favorite part.
Okay.
And I won't even start about the debate over wearing sunglasses or not.
Did we talk about wearing sunglasses? Yeah, I think people don't understand. That's what you come to Daily Motor for, is to not hear about the 911, but to hear about sunglasses.
Exactly.
Is that it? Nothing more to that?
I actually think that was it.
I meant from that one comment. That was where he ended. Was the sunglasses thing. Yeah.
So I guess there weren't as many bad ones as I thought. But okay, to be fair, there's more comments now than there were before. And when I clicked on the video a couple of days ago, they were all bad. But like since then, we've gotten more positive ones.
Sure.
But
let's see. I'll give the viewers, people who are watching, a little insight into what we get to see.
These cars travel along a wide range of channels that are under the Winding Road umbrella. If you want to go watch the car without hearing us talk, go over to Winding Road.
Right.
If you want, that fell. The mic is mad at you for dissing it earlier. If you want to get facts, figures, and get a real proper drive of the car, you go over to the Topher. If you want us, and you want like legitimate, real, raw impressions, and you come to us. So.
Which sounds like a dumb, silly joke, but it's real because, I mean, what purpose would we provide if all we were doing was just doing the exact same review as the Topher, as Sophion, as Miles Per Hour, as all these other channels that get these same cars? We're not joking when we say like,
go to them.
If you want to watch it, that's why we endorse the Topher. Like we appreciate what he has to say too, but we don't want to be the same thing as him.
Yeah.
Because then why would you watch us? He's better at us, better than us at like getting in a car and telling you how like smooth and like well it drives from a professional driver standpoint. He is a professional race car driver, essentially. Teacher, instructor.
Sure.
Yeah. So I agree with that. What I was going to do is pop in and let the viewers kind of see our analytics a bit here and see. Let's take a look at what our like-dislike ratio is. Still 92.6%. We're getting an A-. That's pretty good.
And it's only just barely an A-. If it was up 0.4 more of a percent, it'd be an A. Or is A 94?
No, only one. It could be up 1%. 1 percentage point. 93.6 would be an A.
Yeah.
It'd round up. Channel average 96%. So really not that much lower than typical. So yeah, I'm not too disappointed in that. Let's go and see what our lowest video of any that Daily Motors ever shot. Do you think you know what it is?
Yes,
I know what
Civic Carcourt.
No.
Is it a Carcourt?
No. Can't even organize that way anymore. I gotta do it and go into advanced mode. You'll as soon as you see it, you'll go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's a special edition of a car.
Oh, definitely a Wilderness Subaru.
It's the Outback Wilderness.
The review?
Both the review and the fuel economy test.
I did the review and I just made fun of the car the whole time.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I made fun of the car the entire time, so that's understandable.
Let's see as this loads here. You all will get insight into something.
That was back when we did the solo reviews, and
Yeah.
I was like not pleased about having to review that car by myself, so I just was not very nice about it.
Go here to more metrics, and we go. Oh, likes versus dislikes. Survey says, as it loads.
To be fair, you also put poor in the thumbnail of your fuel economy.
It
test.
was poor. It's objectively a poor figure.
Just poor.
That 911 was very good, though.
Yes.
There was a slightly negative but constructive comment that we got on the BMW M3 review that went up recently. And I part of it's on us, I feel like, and part of it's on the guy. He said it was confusing because we said this car is not very fun to drive, but then 10 seconds later we're like giggling by how fast it was going.
Well, it's in a straight line, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, and I'm sure I know it's very fun on a track as well. What he's not understanding is day-to-day fun. And maybe we didn't make that clear enough. I thought we did, but I understand how sometimes if you just watch a section of our video,
or if you're like
we
half
could say
watching
conflicting sort of things.
Definitely, yeah.
We could do better at like a coherent, like this is a wrap, but we try to get that at the end.
Yeah, the M3 it's fun. It's the most fun when you launch it because it's insanely fast. But it's not something that you don't go out and giggle and laugh like you're in an Elantra N and just
Dude, YouTube is like trying to just make everyone snowflakes. You can't sort by likes versus dislikes.
Okay, well, just go over to just search the Subaru. You already know which one it is.
I think so, but I don't. I want to be sure. You know what I mean? Where else might it be? What can we get here? Subscribers gained, subscribers lost, dislikes shared. Yeah, it's like doesn't allow you to do that anymore.
You think that you'd want to be able to see that just so you could.
Mm-hmm.
You could see what not to make anymore.
We could just see what's gotten the most objective amount of dislikes, but the problem is that's not gonna compare it to like dislikes per 1,000 views. That's just gonna be total dislikes.
Total amount of dislikes,
which will probably be the Carcourt because it's gotten 100,000 views.
The Civic Carcourt.
Yeah.
We have not a lot to talk about this week.
That's not true. That's not true.
You didn't even let me finish. I said we have not a lot to talk about because we didn't drive very many cars. And actually, I only drove. Well, actually, no, I did drive 2 cars this week. I didn't end up driving the Land Rover because there was just no time.
Okay.
But I did drive 2 cars, and Charlie drove 0.
Yeah.
But he did go on a ship.
Actually, I did drive something, and we'll get to that here in a moment.
Oh dear.
But do I look more golden tan?
You do. Alyssa looked burned in her B-reel.
She was a bit burned.
Mm-hmm.
She was a bit charbroiled. It's tough to keep sunblock on you the whole time because you got to.
You seemed like you did a good job.
You
have a lot of clothing on right now, so I can't.
Yeah, I can get that all off here and let you see. But no, I fared pretty well. We burned a good amount the first beach day, a bit because I was playing beach volleyball and on my back it was all like
beach volleyball on the ship.
No, on the island.
beach.
So for any of you just tuning in to the Daily Motor Podcast, I just arrived home late last night from a Caribbean cruise on the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. It was nice. I'd recommend. Have you been on a cruise?
Yes, 2.
Okay. What were they Royal Caribbean?
The first one I don't remember what it. Actually, I don't remember what either of them were. I think one of them was a Carnival cruise, which is like that's like base. That's like the base model, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember which one that was. They actually may have both been that.
Well, this one was nice. We made
my parents have gone on a bunch of Royal Caribbean ones and they love them.
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
It was a good experience. Food was fantastic. They have their own private island where you go and then you just hang out all day and do fun things, kind of water park there and stuff. So that was fun. That's where I was playing the volleyball and stuff. I did also play beach volleyball. Well, it wasn't beach, but volleyball on the cruise ship as well. Lots of time in the sun, lots of pools. Alyssa and I went to Miami Beach the night before because you got to get in early and be there and stuff. And we got bumped up to first class. So shout out to Honda and Hyundai and Mazda and all the manufacturers that built me up to gold medallion on Delta for getting that bump. What's nice is when you travel on a flight that isn't a press trip flight, there's like no other journalists, so no one's got status and you can get bumped super easy.
Yeah.
When you travel on a press flight, it's like Paul Eisenstein is taking all your upgrades and Ken Panton is getting all the upgrades before you because they're platinum or diamond or whatever.
I flew with Paul my way back, and he got upgraded to first class, which meant that his Comfort Plus seat was open. And he's like, go up there and tell him you want my seat. Here's my seat. Tell him that you need my seat. And I was like, okay. And he got on the plane before me, so he couldn't, go up there and yell at anybody. So I go up to the counter. I'm like, hey, my buddy is got upgraded to first. I'm wondering if I can take his seat in comfort. And they were like, oh yeah, what's the seat? And I gave them the seat number, and they were like, "Oh, we have some somebody handicapped in that seat, so we're not able to give that to you." And I was like, "I feel like an asshole now for even asking."
Well, you didn't know. No, you're fine. That's funny. Does Paul know you by like who you are, or did he just recognize that you're a journalist?
No, I know Paul.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right, fair enough. I spoke with him once on the phone before I ever knew who he was.
Oh, really?
Because he was interested in purchasing Car and Driver's long-term Honda Ridgeline. And
he just got a Lightning, F-150 Lightning. Yeah, he just got it.
Yeah,
platinum.
That's a nice truck for about a year, and then it'll be entirely irrelevant. Silverado.
We'll see. Yeah, sure. We'll hear about it via his keyboard.
Yeah, because he just writes for the.
He just writes
Detroit
Free Press or whatever.
Yeah, or something like that. So yeah, got bumped up. That was nice. It was my first class experience, and it was great because we got the full meal and everything, and. I didn't do any alcohol consumption, but it also drastically lowered my productivity. No. Well, Alyssa and I split a champagne. We each got champagne just for like one like celebratory.
Yeah, okay.
What was more strange is that on the way home, I booked us essentially scum class because it was very difficult and expensive to get home. So we had a one layover flight in New York on JetBlue. Excuse me.
What?
So it was JetBlue from...
Why did you do that to yourself? Why?
Because Delta flights started at, for both Alyssa and I to get home, $1,400 one way.
One way?
Yeah.
How much was the JetBlue with the stop?
$600. For both, like, together. So it was less than half for us to do the JetBlue at the stop.
Wow.
And
that would have been tough for me to choose.
Yeah, exactly. And JetBlue was not bad. Their service is good. They give you food. It's like, like the kind, it's not like Spirit where they just cattle car you on, but their seats are just thin and skinny. But like they had in-flight entertainment and everything.
Yeah.
But then, so we were JetBlue to New York, and it was of JetBlue all the way through. It was like booked, but it was American Airlines was the actual flight from New York to Detroit. And for some reason, Alyssa and I, we get up to the counter, and she scans her boarding pass, and he's like, just hold on a sec, your seat's changed. And we're like, okay, whatever, because I booked this through Amex, the Amex portal, and I had no idea, like I didn't pick seats or anything. I just like get us on the plane, get us home, sort of thing. We got bumped to first class on the American Airlines flight. No status, no frequent flyer, anything like that.
Right, because you use the Amex.
Possibly,
yeah.
It's possibly. What I think is the most logical thing I could put together is we booked through the Amex portal. It's third party. This was American Airlines. We booked a JetBlue flight through the Amex portal. So a lot of different moving pieces. And I bet you they oversold the flight. The American Airlines flight did. And because we were probably like unassigned, there was probably still first class seats open, but economy was full. So maybe they were just like, well, these people don't even have a seat yet. Congratulations, you get first. So that was kind of cool.
Was it a nice seat?
It was better. It was a fairly small plane. So first class was only like a 1 and 2 setup.
I see. Okay.
Because it's just from New York over to Detroit. But it was comfortable.
Flew into JFK?
No, LaGuardia.
LaGuardia.
Which was a nice airport. LaGuardia was nice. And I flew into the Evans terminal here in Detroit for the first time in a long time, which used to be the North terminal. I don't know why they renamed it.
Oh.
But it's quite nice too.
Is it?
Yeah. I thought it was like the crappy terminal, but it's nice.
Okay.
So that was all good. We missed out on a port stop in Puerto Costa Maya because it was too windy. They couldn't dock the boat. So that was a bit unfortunate. I probably would have brought you a thing because there's a monkey. But because we plan on getting things in Puerto Costa Maya. But we lost that opportunity. It's just a stop in Mexico, like the coast.
You brought me back a Mistretta.
There were some fun cars down there. Also, did you do this?
No.
Stu's offspring did that.
Potentially.
There were some fun cars down there. We rode around in a tour bus that was a manual because everything's manual outside of the US.
Like this?
No, he was like, it was in Honduras. So it was, just like chuck it. All the buses were Toyotas or Hyundais. That was kind of cool. I'm trying to think if I saw, I drove a Polaris Razor. Side by side. Yeah, and it actually worked out kind of nicely because Alyssa and I did this side-by-side thing because we wanted to go snorkeling, and it was the only tour that was left to go snorkeling was you had to like drive the side-by-sides around for a bit and then go snorkeling afterward. And they were 4-seaters, and so you had to share with someone. And the whole setup was like they'd drive partway out through the woods or whatever, and then you're supposed to switch so that people got an opportunity to all drive. And fortunately, we got paired up with these two women who were like with the rest of their family, and they had zero interest in driving. So they were like, you can drive the whole time. And I was like, thank goodness. Because the only vehicle that I've ever been crashed in
is
as
a
side-by-side is a Polaris.
I was just
going to
say,
side-by-side. Yeah.
How many people flip these things? I mean, it's got to happen every single time people flip them over.
We weren't driving spiritedly. Okay. It was fairly controlled. And also they were the 4-seaters. Yeah. But yes, the 2-seater that I was in was being flogged when it got rolled.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, consider the type of personnel that would come to Mexico bit drunk. Get in a side-by-side.
Well, they do say you're not supposed to drive it if you...
Do they test you? Okay.
There's no breathalyzer.
You get in the side-by-side, and you say it's in a controlled environment, but they're going to see a pathway or a bank, right? Go up on it, flip.
Yes.
Guaranteed. I guarantee it happens every day. People flip them over.
The roof was removed from one of the ones that
probably
was
driving
down the road.
Probably because it flipped so many times?
No, I was going to say it flew off while they were driving.
Oh, probably because it's flipped so many times that it wasn't held on very well.
Another one of them simply stopped working as we were putzing along. I think it was overheating because we were going kind of slow and it was like 85, 90 degrees outside. And yeah. So that was an interesting experience. Those ones I believe are CVT and they were not as nice to drive as the Hondas. So
where are the Hondas?
Dual clutch.
Oh, that's cool.
Sequential. Yeah.
We need it. Lynn, do we go through Lynn to get those?
No, we go through Colin, I believe. So Colin, we'd like some side-by-sides soon.
Please.
Yeah, those are fun. And they've gotten a lot of views. The Talon on Winding Road and stuff. Yeah. Other than that, Alyssa and I ate way too much food, which is what you're supposed to do on a cruise.
Yeah, you're supposed to do that. Did you get pizza?
Yes.
The cruise pizza is always good.
Good. Yeah, all the food was great. I got a massage that was subpar.
Oh no, yeah. You've been liking those lately. You got one in Santa Monica.
I'm a big massage enthusiast. Yeah. But this lady, it was a 75-minute massage, and at what had to have been about minute 50, she started doing like a head massage, but it wasn't like a real good like taking it. It was kind of just a lazy like sort of move her finger around every 30 seconds or so, and did that for the rest of the massage. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, should I say something? Should I be like, can you do my back more or something? Maybe I should have spoken up, but it's one of those things where you're like, I'll give them a little more time. Maybe this is part of their, like, what they're told to do, like their repertoire. But I think she just got lazy. So that was unfortunate.
Yeah. Were the first 50 minutes good?
Yeah, they're decent. They're okay.
Not as good as the one you got in Santa Monica?
Correct. No, the Santa Monica, I should look up the massage place of the one in Santa Monica because she was genuinely, she, like, works for herself. Like did it out of her home.
So she has a reason to like
to get the shout out. So any of you who are looking to receive a massage in
you live in Southern California.
Let's do what was her name? It was this it? Just What You Need. Yes. It's called Just What You Need, but KNEED.
That's clever. I like that.
Her name was Liz Angels.
Okay.
And yeah, it was very good. Very
Thanks,
good,
Liz.
very good massage. Yep. And I think because her overhead's a little low, the prices were very reasonable. But yeah, anything else with the cruise? Met my buddy Pat and Courtney on the cruise. So that was fun. Yeah, it's nice to be warm. It was a good 8 days of walking outside and just
8 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time. Did it get kind of old on day 6, day 7, day 8?
It wasn't old, but there was that feeling of like, man, I need to get back to reality sort of thing of just like stuff needs to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any work done while you were on the ship?
No, I intentionally did like very little. It's nothing. There was like the little bit of messaging you and messaging Chris and like sending one or two of like the most important emails. But other than that, I tried to not do anything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this podcast is not sponsored by Royal Caribbean, but
yeah,
I'm still endorsed.
Disappointed you didn't do a sound system test on the cruise ship.
On the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the speakers weren't half bad.
Amos and I were joking about that. We're like, Charlie's going to have on DM Sound the Royal Caribbean sound system test from the deck.
Yep. Oh, members only.
Yeah, members only, right.
Yep. So we already covered the cars that we drove last week. Well, 2 weeks ago.
That's right. Point. Well, this week, I drove a couple cars this week.
Yeah. Let's do the Mercedes first.
So I lived with the 22 Mercedes C300 4MATIC. Way better than I thought it was going to be. I always had this weird misconception that the C-Class wasn't a very nice car. And just due to like ignorance of never really being in a C-Class.
Well, it's partially ignorance, but also the society has a bad. They do that. They say there's like a saying I heard once, like, I can't remember. Cheap class, C-Class is cheap class, or something like that.
Yeah.
That like it's just so it's not just you. People kind of try to perpetuate that stigma,
actually,
which is weird because it doesn't happen with the A4 and it doesn't happen with
the 3 Series.
3 Series.
Yeah. I think it's because Mercedes is more of a luxury, like they come off as more of a luxury brand than Audi and BMW.
Americans forget that in Europe, they build plenty of just pedestrian sort of cars.
Well, so does BMW and Audi.
Yeah. Well, not Audi so much, but the other. I mean, Audi does have the A2 and A1 and everything.
A3.
Yeah.
Q1. They have a Q1 as well.
But Audi, the VAG group also has Volkswagen that they can do that with. Whereas Mercedes and BMW, that is their brand.
That's
so
their
they
brand.
Still have to,
Well, BMW has Mini.
They do have that now.
Mm-hmm. And Mercedes used to have Smart, but actually they probably still
do in Europe.
We're getting up. This is what always happens.
Are you saying that
off on a
we're getting off on tangents? I was gonna say that's what they come here for.
Anyways, though, yeah, the C300 was a really nice car, baby S class. It's everything that you'd want in that segment. I can't think of anything that I would have added to that car for the price.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
because you got heated, cooled seats, good ambient lighted, heated steering.
Yeah.
Would you pay an extra $200 to be able to separate your heated seat from your heated steering wheel?
Yes, I would, and I'd like a switch for that because I do often drive around with the heated seat off and the heated steering wheel on.
Sure.
So I don't know. There could be a way somewhere deep to do it, and
you're gonna get roasted in the comments.
Yeah,
saying you should have done your research first. What kind of your reviewer are you to have not figured that out before you shot this video? Very poor.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, we'll have to see. I did film a review on the car for the Topher. So we'll have to see if I get any bad comments on that video. But it was a nice car. Unfortunately, I didn't actually spend as much time driving it as I wanted to. On Monday, when it arrived, it was kind of later in the day. I drove it a little bit that night. I went and ran some errands. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I was out in San Diego, California, driving the new Lexus RZ, which I cannot talk about yet.
Yeah, when is the embargo lift?
March 13th. So,
dude, I thought we'd have another car to talk about.
Yeah, so can't talk about the RZ. I can tell you that I drove it, but I can't really say anything about it. But then I came back.
You can comment on.
I can talk about the looks and things. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that in a second.
All right. Yeah.
So, anyways, I got back Thursday night. Didn't do any driving because I was tired. I actually got home, walked in the door, and went straight to bed and slept for 12 hours after
That's what I need to do. Man.
Yeah, it was good. You'll need to do that tonight. Yeah. And then Friday, we had the biggest snowstorm we've had so far this winter. We got like 10 inches of snow. The roads were horrible. And I had a concert that night. I went to a concert with Matthew.
Who'd you see?
Bayside. You heard of Bayside? They're like a rock group from the early 2000s.
Oh.
Matthew's a big fan. It was cool. He
got
us
like rock level of like Nickelback or like Three Doors Down, or is it like a little
definitely not
lighter?
It's not like Nickelback.
Okay.
Well, you can. Viewers, do your homework and go listen to Bayside. Charlie, you can listen to them afterwards.
I was hoping you'd give me a little, sing some of the songs that you
I don't think that'd give you a great impression. And actually, I cannot sing any of the songs because I don't know any of their songs. I just went with Matthew because he invited me and treated, so it was awesome.
Where was it?
St. Andrews Hall.
Oh,
they put on a great show.
Okay.
They were really good. Okay, so then that was Friday. Matthew's Tesla did a great job driving home in the snow.
Yeah.
There was like a foot of snow on the road and it just plowed right through it.
Well, I'm glad he got new tires.
He did. Yeah, he's got some nice, I don't know what brand they are, but they're pretty good all season tires.
Not sponsored, so fuck them.
Yeah, right. So my only real 2 days of driving this C-Class were Saturday and Sunday. And I think this is the least I've driven a car, which is unfortunate. I had used, by Saturday, I had only used an eighth of a tank of gas the whole week. Because I was gone and then I didn't drive it Friday. So it's like, so I drove it around. Saturday night I went out and I just drove because I knew that I had to review it for the TOEFR.
So
I wanted to be thorough
and know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I just went out and exactly. So I went out and just drove it around Saturday night and went and got some bubble tea and just soaked in all the ambient lighting, and it was nice. Emily was at work, so I was like, oh, I guess I'll just go for a drive and listen to the 15-speaker Burmester, which is pretty good. You're gonna
A-tier, you said?
You're gonna be reviewing that, I think.
Yeah.
Unless they come and steal the car away. So TBD on that. But yeah, I mean, overall, good car. It's perfect for what it's exactly what it should be. It still feels like a Mercedes. The steering is very light. All of the interior materials feel very nice. You can option on real leather, but I'm sure the MB Tex is fine if you just want to have a free interior option. What?
I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay. I mean, I'm pretty much am finished.
That's the C-Class. Good car.
The C-Class is great. Yeah, it was great. I don't think I'd change anything. I even got used to the stupid volume controls. Okay. No, dear. I'm nervous.
Well, speaking of Matthew, we know that the listeners of the podcast are Matthew enthusiasts, and this may not be new information to you, but you can read that top message.
Oh yeah.
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 Okay. Matthew is now having a girlfriend enthusiast.
Yeah, I heard about that a couple days ago.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Clap. Sound.
We need the soundboard.
Yeah,
we really need the soundboard.
Well, at some point here.
I'm happy that you did that.
Oh,
or not that you did it, but like that you kind of
helped
facilitate. Yeah, that's great.
Yes. At some point here, now that we have a decent amount of listeners to the Daily Motor Podcast,
thank you all.
I would like in 2023 to acquire a dedicated podcasting sound mini deck sort of deal that has a few buttons for those hotkeys and stuff, and maybe 2 microphones that don't do this.
My microphone is great.
Yeah, your microphone is actually terrible, but
it's not.
It works.
Be nice to it.
I want to get us 2 nicer condenser mics and a little.
Can we get headphones too?
Do you want that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. We can do that.
Because then I can hear myself, and if I'm going over here,
that is a good point. This, yeah, it might.
I can make sure that I'm actually talking into the mic.
Yeah. So yeah, those are plans. Kind of mid-level plans for DM 2023.
All right. And
yeah, clapping emojis.
Clapping soundboard.
And
So we can talk a little bit about the Lexus RZ if you're ready for that.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused because you've been going back and forth on this information, and I understand that it's not entirely your fault. But first I was told their car was getting a yoke. Then I was told they're not doing a yoke for like 6 months. And then you sent a message saying they're going to have a yoke car, but I won't get to drive it. And then I saw a photo from either you or someone else of the yoke.
I drove it.
I drove it. You drove the yoke?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't say anything about how it drives.
I don't think I can.
Can you comment on how the yoke feels when the car is static?
Yeah, I think so.
Because that's not a driving impression.
I think I can. Let me start out by saying that the yoke is not yet available. If you order an RZ, you cannot yet get the yoke, and that's because they don't know how much they're going to charge for it yet. Okay. Also, I don't know if you'll be able to get it in the 23 model year because they're still saying they're about 6 months out-ish before you can actually get it. So it's going to be an optional extra. To preface, the Lexus RZ comes with just a regular steering wheel. I was about to comment on the steering feel, but I'm not going to. So it comes with a regular steering wheel, and you'll be able to option on this. They don't call it a yoke. It's called steer by wire.
Well, steer by wire is the same thing that Infiniti had a decade ago.
Yes. However,
Infiniti's a Nissan product, and this is a Toyota, so it'll be much better.
Well, and this isn't a driving impression. Infiniti had a physical backup,
which I thought they had to.
Lexus does not.
Okay,
there is
so there's
no physical connection between
and that's legal,
the
apparently?
yoke and the wheels.
Well, it must be, because I'm sure Tesla has that too.
Potentially.
Yeah.
There's no physical. There are a lot of backups, a lot of backup batteries to kind of save you if something goes wrong. But there's no physical connection between the wheels and the steering wheel. And it's okay to call it a yoke at this time. They said they're going to have their own special name for what they're going to call. But
Lexus
I was talking to the
dynamic steering.
Well, no, it's called steer by wire.
Okay.
But I was like,
that's not like their brand name for it. That's just the objective what it is.
I feel like it's called that. Like
they could call it that.
I think that's what
I'm
it's
just saying.
called.
You can't like copyright that phrase because
steer by wire.
That'd be like copywriting the phrase bandage. Like a bandage is a bandage. You can say band-aid can be like a brand name, but steer by wire is just what it is.
Check the Monroney.
But Lexus could call it that. I'm not saying they can't.
Yeah, no, there's no like trademark thing.
Yeah.
But they are I believe going to call it steer by wire. They might change it. I mean, I don't know. The whole steer by wire thing. I'm very happy that they had a couple of cars there for us to experience, but you can definitely you can tell that it's not like they're not ready to release it. But it did. I did drive it and it did feel finished. Ooh, am I allowed to say that?
When you were sitting in it statically,
it felt finished.
I would like to know if you're a car engineer. Let us know in the comments. Do you think it would be, and I'm asking you this, Chris, incredibly frustrating or incredibly like satisfyingly challenging if you were a car designer, engineer thing, and you're used to working on like, how do we make this car more fuel efficient? How do we make it drive better and everything? And then your superiors come to you and the CEOs or whatever, and they're like, you know, the thing that cars have always had to steer?
Yeah.
Make something different.
Yeah.
Because I could see one of two things. I could see the engineer being like, why do we have to spend months upon months designing this first physical part and then designing the coding to decide how quickly the steering wheel should ramp up speed and how it should work and stuff versus just a wheel that every other car has. But I also want, from the positive side of me, I want to point out that maybe some engineers would actually revel in that opportunity to be like, how can we make this better? How can we change things? How can we try to reinvent the wheel, if you will? Because they are literally reinventing the wheel.
The way that it was explained to me is that this steer-by-wire system is debuting, is the word that they used in the RZ, and you'll want to look for it in future Lexus models.
But so now what do you, and I'm sure there's a way to answer this without actually using any driving impressions specifically from the RZ, but from a conceptual standpoint, what is there to gain by having a yoke style, a steer-by-wire yoke style? Is it that your hands don't have to do as much moving?
Never have to move your hands.
Because they can always
never move your hands. And I think I can say this too. You only have 150 degrees of steering angle.
Yeah, that's objective.
So you never have to move your hands.
Sure.
You can do a U-turn, and you don't have to use your hands, or you don't have to use. You have to use your hands. You don't have to move your hands.
Yeah, and we could attest to this more if either of us had driven a Model S or Model X. With the we haven't.
With those, you have to go hand over hand still, don't you?
I do think so.
Yeah, so with the Lexus, you don't. So it makes more sense in that respect.
It is interesting because oftentimes I don't drive with both hands. And I know you can't tell me yet if the Lexus you can do that, but I'm curious when you tell us on next week's podcast. I'll be curious if you can just kind of have one hand on the wheel and drive. I imagine you probably can because it's probably decently light and you can just kind of like, you know, but it'll be. I mean, do you like sneeze and all of a sudden the car like jerks itself? Maybe not, because they could probably filter out drastic movements. But then when does a car feel like it's just driving for you? And I don't know. It'll be interesting. I can also see how if they're moving towards self-driving, a yoke that isn't intended to go more than one way around could be a safety thing, because then if the car is doing the driving, it's not yanking this wheel in front of you.
Right.
Yeah. It looks interesting. I don't know how I care about the two-tone paint.
Yeah, well, that's an option, which is nice. You don't have to have.
Is it like BMW where it's $10,000 for the two-tone?
I think it's more. Isn't it like $12,000 on the BMW?
I think so, yeah.
Something? No, I don't think it's that much. I think it's. Well, I can tell you. I think I have a photo of.
Oh, by the way, my buddy John pointed out this is an elk.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, John.
$1,200.
1,200.
1,200.
Quite a bit more reasonable than 12,000 BMW.
Yeah. Did they release pricing? I think they did.
For the Lexus?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been on a cruise.
Okay. Well, we'll just be vague about the Lexus, and if you want to see a review, I'll have one on the Topher. So
it looks like a Toyota BZ4X.
However,
Lexus BZ4X.
However, Charlie, it has the same wheelbase as the RX, and it has most of the same dimensions as the RX, except the hood is lower and more sloping, and the back is a little bit more coupe-like, but you get 2 inches more headroom inside than you do in the Lexus RX. So, I mean...
Yeah. I would rather have the Volvo.
I was going to say.
The EX90.
How do you know? You haven't driven it.
True. Also, the EX90 is probably going to be much more expensive.
Yes.
But I'd rather have it just because I...
Did you see those cool like dynamic headlights that it has?
The Lexus?
Yeah, no. The Volvo.
No.
It's almost like a modernized pop-up, except it all happens inside the actual headlight housing. You have your DRLs, and the DRLs move and pop back, and the actual headlight pops forwards for the headlights. So you don't have to have a bigger... You can still have a pretty small headlight to run your DRLs, and then it flips for the headlight.
That's certainly a reason I'd rather have that. And that's also a reason why that car will only be worth $2,000.
That's right. Well,
because the one will not work.
Wise words.
So you'll go to turn your headlights on, and one will be the DRL, and the
other,
or it'll be part way. It'll like break halfway, so it'll be like they're both broken.
Wise words of the Topher. At some point, every Volvo will be worth $2,000.
Sad but true.
It's sad but true.
Yep. Cool. Well, tune in next week to hear more about what Chris has to say about the Lexus RZ. I am suspecting that you will have enjoyed driving it, but wouldn't purchase one. And you can't answer that question yet, but I think that's about where we'll be. Because I know that you were quite a fan of the GV60. And the GV60 is quite a bit smaller, but I know you never intend on having any more than one human in your car, or 2 total.
Yeah, right.
So you'd probably just take the GV60. Cool. This week at Daily Motor HQ, we are driving at least 3 cars.
Why?
Because I'm going on a trip.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Although it's not technically at
And
DMHQ.
you're going on another trip next week too, aren't you?
No.
The week after? When's Prius Prime?
3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yep. First off, we have the 2023 Honda Pilot Trail Sport.
Yeah.
Very predictable. It's almost as if they took the Civic and Accord and made it into a 3-row
Put them in a
crossover.
blender, poured it into a Pilot size mold, and then,
I think it looks much better than the previous gen Pilot.
Yes.
I think it...
Yeah, it's more like...
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's still a bit soft compared to 15-year-old ago Pilots. But compared to the previous gen Pilot, I think it's pretty comparable.
It's soft compared to a car that was made 15 years ago.
Seriously, I mean, the first and second gen Pilots were like beefy boys.
Well, yeah, now you get the Passport if you want that.
Yeah,
the Passport is basically like the old Pilot.
Yeah, you're right. That is more so.
And then the new Pilot is a bigger version of that. And
the new Pilot's for if you can't stand to see yourself driving a minivan. So if you're insecure and have 3+ kids, you get the Pilot.
You do want a minivan.
Secure in yourself,
Honda does
you get
offer
the Odyssey.
Quite a nice, sporty minivan.
When they redesign the Odyssey based on this like architecture and the design and everything, it's gonna look really good.
It's gonna be good. That's like the last one to go, right? Because they've done the Civic, they've done the Accord, they've done the CRV, they've done the Pilot. So now they've just got to do
HRV.
Passport. Oh, and they've done the HRV. So now just Odyssey and Passport. Are those the only 2 left?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because they killed the Fit.
Yeah, sad. Rip Fit. Yeah. You could bring on an S2000 with like
the
skinny headlights.
Ridgeline.
Oh yeah,
Ridgeline
the old
will have to go too. Yeah.
Yeah,
There will have
which
to be.
Ridgelines last a long time, so it'll probably be the last one to get.
And Passport will go at the same time probably because they'll look the same.
Yeah, but so does the Odyssey. So I think Passport will come out
That's
first,
true.
and then Odyssey, and then Ridgeline.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. The new Pilot is well laid out inside. There is a bit of a large gaping nothingness in between the second row seats. We think that maybe, this would be a good opportunity for us to research this, Chris. Let's go.
Us doing research? Come on, Charles.
Honda. Oh, the most dislikes. Best car sound systems ranked, which makes sense because that's got almost 400,000 views. But then Civic Car Court and Subaru Outback Wilderness fourth, third Titan.
What's the percentage though? Does it say?
Oh yeah, there we go. There's our percentages. Here we go. All right, dislike percentage for the Civic Car Court 76%.
That's pretty poor.
Titan 77. Subaru Outback Wilderness 53.
53 for the review?
No, for the MPG
test. What does the review have?
Review.
I hope it's better than the MPG.
It's had many few reviews, so it's way down here somewhere.
Okay.
Right here. DM Test Drive 60.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was slightly less negative than you.
Yes. Wow. Polestar 2 versus Tesla Model Y is at 70. I was not impressed by the Polestar. And a lot of
people love that car.
Yeah, a lot of people get angry.
A lot of people were actually at this Lexus trip. A lot of people were talking about the Polestar and talking it up, and I was like, I can't really weigh in because I spent like 2 days with one 2 years ago, and I don't remember anything about it.
Okay. Ooh, what is this 70%er? Subaru Ascent. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Isn't that car dreadful?
It is. You're correct.
It won worst car of the year in 2020.
Honda Pilot. 2023 Honda Pilot. I like how simple Honda names are. It's just the Honda Pilot. It kind of matches the rest of the car. Escape the asphalt. Asphalt.
I like that rear window design. It's kind of neat looking.
Yeah. I think it's a handsome car, and it looks a little more stubby now in this new. Oh, wow, it starts at $40K. I hope they don't make.
Have been getting. Oh, you know what? The CRV's cheaper now because there's a lower trim just introduced.
Okay.
The CRV got cheaper, and the Civic. The Civic has the hubcap trim back also.
Oh, good.
They got rid of it for a second, but it's back. Yeah.
I don't think they should even offer a Pilot without all-wheel drive. I feel like they only do that so that.
Well, that's so you can get the base model in Florida, and so Hertz can buy 50,000 of them.
Sure. Let's look at all the trims. Sport starts at 40 grand.
Go to the Elite and look at the interior.
Yeah. See, so Trail Sport's a third rung trim. So in the Touring, you start getting the Bose. So there you go. There's your Bose sound system and your navigation.
Why didn't you ask for a Touring?
Because I didn't ask for anything. I asked for an car, and this is what showed up. I asked for an car that wasn't a Miata.
That's right.
Yeah, you were there for that.
I told Joe to give you a Supra.
Yeah. Bose premium sound system. Here we go. Stowable second row center seat. That's what you start getting in the Pilot Touring.
Gotcha.
So I think the Trail Sport, they just wanted to make the rear as rugged as possible.
I bet that Bose system is pretty decent.
I bet it is too.
How do you think the base system is?
Dreadful.
You think it's a D?
I think it's D for dreadful. I think it's a D for damn. I wish I would have paid more and gotten the Bose.
Can you get a Bose in the Trail Sport?
No, Honda never does options.
That's true.
Yeah, it's literally just pick a color, pick a trim, which I kind of like because then if you're buying it used, you know exactly what's on your car.
You know what's on it, yeah.
Yeah. Build and price Trail Sport.
285 horsepower. Pretty decent.
Yeah. Here's your colors.
Red. Oh, we don't have that. We don't have the cooler blue. We have like the gray blue.
Yeah, we have the grayish blue. And all the colors cost specifically $455. Only one interior color option and one wheel option. Second row captain's chairs, your only package. Oh, wait, what's...
Honda does like accessories, though. Honda,
yes, they put it all in accessories.
They love accessories.
Yep. Yeah, well...
That's a big...
You can get
thing.
tent.
I obtained, allegedly obtained many...
Honda accessories?
No. I obtained what was taken off when the Honda accessory was put on.
Oh, I see.
Which is probably fine, but...
Did those make their way onto eBay?
I made a lot of money selling that stuff.
Well, it's like you're getting tipped, you know?
Yeah, which I needed from that job.
Yeah.
I made.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this off camera.
Fair
But,
enough.
yeah.
Members
Anyways,
only. Yeah. So I think the Pilot will be decent. I don't think the Trail Sport will make it as fun of a vehicle as the Passport Trail Sport, because we quite like the Passport Trail Sport because it feels like you can chuck this thing around. This is fun. You don't get that feeling from the Pilot. Even though this is the Trail Sport version, it feels large.
That's okay.
There's nothing about it that feels like, I'm going to go do sporty stuff.
No, as it should. I like big SUVs that feel like big SUVs, and I like the light steering in this Pilot.
Yes, the steering is very light. That's true. Brake feels nice. Everything is a very approachable, soft feel to the car. So that's kind of cool. The other car we have at DMHQ this week is another 3-row vehicle. It is the BMW X7.
Charlie, we ought to do a comparison.
That'd be hilarious. If we had a
Just
chill
no
week
context.
this week, we're out here comparing the 2023 BMW X7 M60i to this 2023 Honda Pilot Trail Sport. The prices are a bit different.
Yeah. That would be funny. It would piss a lot of people off because people just
start doing reviews to intentionally make people
We
mad.
should. I was thinking about this earlier and I was laughing to myself. We should do a comparo on our two cars every week. Just like, what did we have?
I've thought about that.
Like,
What's in the driveway.
Kia Niro versus Jaguar F-Type.
Yeah.
Just like random
It
shit.
would start getting some views. And I mean, we could kind of make a thing out of that. Because we really have to dig down and to find similarities and differences.
Yeah.
And I
just think it would be funny and it would piss people off and we'd get views for it.
From an entertainment standpoint, I would appreciate hearing which one we'd rather have if we had to be stuck with one for a year. Because like you just said, Kia Niro versus Jaguar F-Type R. Mm-hmm. I bet you think I would pick the Niro, but I would take the Jag.
I'd take the Jag as well.
Yeah.
You wouldn't take the Niro? That's very strange. Mm-mm. What about all of the money you'd have to spend putting petrol in it, though, Charlie?
There are very few cars that I would be willing to do that for, and the Jaguar is one of them.
Wow.
I mean, that motor is just...
that car is
just
great.
every time driving it around, just...
Yeah.
It's just so cool. And it's worth spending
fart.
money.
Fart.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
So, the X7 is frozen San Marino blue?
It's quite a pretty car.
Individual color. Pretty neat.
I adore the X7.
I do too. The X7 is it's the most athletic 3-row SUV that I've ever driven, and that was confirmed when we were at Test Fest last year, and we were driving the individual Verde Hermes X7, and it hustled and it kept up with the M340i, and it was actually walking away from the M340i. And I have a video up on Topher Drives of me and the M340i. Charlie's in front of me in that green X7. And he just walks away from the M340i. We're both at full tilt, and it's the coolest thing. Yeah, that X7 is you can see where BMW's putting their money.
Oh yes,
when you get into an X car.
I wish I could do a good German accent because 100% 10 years ago the BMW executives came to their designers and engineers and said, forget the sedans.
Yeah.
Crossovers.
Yeah.
And the X cars, especially the 5 and the 7, but also the 3 and the 1, have been very, very good. And they're good to drive. What I like about the BMW X cars compared to other crossovers in the segment are they split the balance exactly how I would want between a driver's car and a luxury daily driver. Mm-hmm. Because the Porsches are too drivery, the Mercedes are too daily. I want it right in the middle.
Splits it, yeah.
Yeah, and the only one that was actually kind of close was that SQ7. The Audi.
I thought that was a good,
I thought that was a good blend too.
The SQ7 was nice. Yeah, well, Audis are always boring.
Yeah, and so you get the Audi if you're just more boring. If you're a bit of a Yahoo, you get the BMW, and if you're a bit of a classy person, you get the Audi. I think your extended friend, however you want to label him as, Tori, should get an X7. Tori. I think you should.
I've told him to get an X7. I'll FaceTime him with this
one, because this is a great. He could buy. He probably just leases new, but he could buy one of the pressers if he wanted.
Does BMW do that?
Yeah,
we should get him to get this one, the matte blue. I don't know. He always gets black cars.
Well, maybe we'll get him the Verde Hermes. It's a dark enough color.
No, it's not. It's bright ass green.
Not as bright as like the Stelvio.
Well, that's true.
But yeah, it is pretty green.
It's pretty obnoxious.
It's not like a dark forest green. The Honda Passport used to come in a nice dark green. I don't
Yes,
think it
it
still
did.
does. Car and
It
Driver's
did.
long termer was looked like it
Yeah,
looked great.
Honda had that. They had that on a lot of cars. Didn't they have that on the Pilot and the Ridgeline too, or no?
No, I don't think so.
It didn't come on the Pilot?
Might
Swear
have
it
come on the
did.
Pilot, but I don't think it came on the Ridgeline.
Okay. Well, anyways.
Yeah, the X7 is like if you... Here's the difference between the X5 and the X7. First of all, the X7 now looks really cool because it's ugly, but it's better because of that now with the facelift. But the X7 is for if you want an X5, but you actually have to use your third row once a week. If you're going to use your third row more than once a week, you get the X7. If you simply just use the third row once a month, you can get the X5.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think of the facelift, the LCI?
I like it.
X7?
I like it.
The
Like I
split
just said, I
headlight
think
design?
it's uglier now, but it's cooler. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the X5 is more attractive. Like, arguably speaking, they're both next to each other, and you go like, what's the more beautiful
Yeah, the
car?
X5
The
is
X5
quite pretty.
is very pretty.
I want to drive the new X5M.
You just want your face
I've
ripped
never
off from
driven
every,
an
like,
well, I have driven an X5M, but it's been a while. It's been quite a while.
Was Dane's car an X5M?
No, it's not. He
Just
still
an
has
X5.
it.
He still has it?
Yeah, it sits in the street in front of his house.
Okay, because
I don't get it either. I don't get it either. He drives the E46. He has a beautiful. It's winter, so he can't drive his Miata, but
Yeah.
he's got a really nice Miata. He's got an X5 that still runs and drives fine. It just has every warning light on, and he drives the E46 that I sold him. So
Yeah, we actually haven't driven this specific X7 yet because it hasn't showed up yet, which is good because I still need to film some on the Mercedes after this. But I think it's going to be quite good.
Mhm.
I had no clue how much it costs. I think it's about $120,000. So.
I think it's 122. I looked at
Yeah.
the Monroney last night.
Yep, because I
Yeah.
sent it over to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And thank you for looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
This week, I will also be driving the 2023 GMC Hummer EV SUV. A lot of acronyms.
I'm
there.
curious. Are you publicizing what outlet you're going for, or do you not want to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be shooting for miles per hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
more-
excited to see it. I'm curious how you're gonna kind of like
Well, this is going to be the
do
start.
that. Okay.
Hey guys, I have the key to this 2023 GMC
Yes.
Hummer EV SUV. And you may notice that I am not Miles, and that is because Miles is having a baby this week. Or rather, Christina is.
That's right.
So I am Charlie, and I will be substituting in for him for this video.
Substitute Miles, baby.
Yep.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
I love
so
it. Oh yeah, I'll be excited to watch that video.
I will be curious how his audience will react too, yeah, because I'm
I
think
sure
they'll
they'll
be
be
pretty
fine
good,
with it.
yeah.
Yeah, because
we have a similar, like, general vibe and demeanor.
yeah,
like,
and he also has a guy doing his night drives right now, and
Yes.
there's no way that they're gonna like the night drive guy better than you.
Sure, yeah.
So like,
Sorry, Night Drive guy.
oh
if
yeah,
you're
sorry,
listening.
Sharon.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be interesting, and I will squeeze in some DM content as well. But I am
Sound system test.
maybe I don't know what would do better because I already have a sound system test on the Hummer truck.
Did it do well?
I think it's done fine.
Okay, so you might just do like a quick drive.
I think I'll do a quick drive or something like that. Yeah, I am concerned about how this press event will go because I think it's mostly off-roading. Like there's going to be like an off-road drive park and stuff. And I'm just nervous with the amount of time with the vehicle and stuff. So obviously I'm going to prioritize Miles' content. And I just don't know, especially if we have to like share or anything like that. I'm going to be tired and stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to see.
We'll see. Yeah, sharing is and this is never anything against the person you share with. It's
Yeah.
just like sometimes it just really overcomplicates things, and I really wish that the manufacturers would put in the extra effort to
Mm-hmm.
either have more waves to make sure like everyone gets their own car, or just have more cars there.
Well, no, I figured it out. Each video journalist should be paired with a writing journalist.
Yeah, because
The writing journalist only has to drive for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they can go home and write about it and be done. But and then the video person needs to be go. So really, you'd think it should be two video people together, but it shouldn't. It should be a video
Yeah.
and a writing.
Yeah. But anyways, I got to hang out with Kirk.
I was going to ask
Yeah,
you
yeah.
how was Kirk? Is
He's
he
great.
a cool dude, isn't he?
He's great. Yeah,
very
yeah.
nice guy. Yeah.
A lot of children. Didn't
Yes,
realize
he
that.
is a having
He
children.
has a having children enthusiast. He's also having a Prius enthusiast.
Yes, he has 2 Priuses.
Really? I only heard about one.
He has a new one on order.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he is specifically a having Little Women enthusiast.
Or are they all girls? I
He's
didn't ask.
4 girls. and a wife who's produced the Four Girls.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was.
He's very much like you. I can see why you guys are friends.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good dude. Good guy to. You guys probably broke up your filming decently well as well, right?
So
he had to do a static.
Yeah, so he actually spent all of our time together was him filming.
Oh.
And then I went off in the afternoon by myself and there was extra cars sitting there from the writing journalists that went out and drove for 5 minutes, came back and ditched their cars. So I just grabbed one of those and went out and did my Topher video by myself. And I filmed for the Topher for like 3 hours because it probably wasn't 3. It was like 2 hours because I had to go out, get reacquainted, do my walk around, go do the drive. Then I had to come back, hop in the steer by wire car, go out and film that for an insert in my one video.
And you had to have your ground clearance specs and your breakover and approach angles.
Of course,
all
yeah.
down and everything.
I am so glad that I shot for Winding Road day before because I don't think that I would have had time.
Good
to shoot.
I'm glad. That was a very pro move for you to go out, get a little earlier.
Thank you. And
done.
unfortunately, there was no time to shoot a DM video, which I'm sad about because I wanted to hit all 3. But
we need to start getting our own invites.
Exactly. Yeah, because if you would have, you would have been on a ship anyway, so you couldn't have gone. But
we need a substitute Charlie.
We need a substitute. I am substitute Charlie.
Yeah.
And I'm substitute Topher.
Well, you're also yourself, so
myself.
You did a good job.
But I was so exhausted after that. Well, like I said, I got home and I slept for 12 hours. I was just like going that day. It was chaos.
Was Mr. Ken Panton around there to put the car in a static place and then take a slow pan video of it and put a caption saying like,
"Shall we begin?"
About this. Yeah.
Shall we begin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was there. Who else? Omar was there. It's cool to hang out with him. Omar drives. I don't know if you're who else?
Sophion?
Did not see Sophion. Oh,
Brian?
Yes, Brian was there. Oh, what's his name? Roman's son from.
Oh yeah. Trevor? No.
I'm so sorry. I talked to him for a little bit.
Right?
I forgot his name.
Yeah, TFL guy.
Cool guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was the
Sounds
extent
like it was a good
of
event.
people that I knew. It was, yeah, it was good, and I got enough time in the car, but just enough to film for Winding Road and Topher. So, Winding Road video will be a round steering wheel car, and that'll go up March 13th, 7 a.m. And I don't know when Chris's video will go up. Probably midday on March 13th, and you'll see driving impressions of the regular car as well as the car with the steer-by-wire. It'll be slotted in. It'll all be one video. It'll be a long video, but
you'll hear about it right here on the day of the
and you'll hear about it here
on Tuesday.
Next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are those all the things that we're driving this week? Let me think. Hummer. Yeah, Hummer SUV is going to be just like the truck, but it's going to have a closed thing in the back.
And it looks cool.
It does look cool.
It looks proper Hummer. I hope they offer it in yellow. If they don't offer it in yellow,
that would be the dumbest thing that GMC could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to offer it in yellow, and they need to offer it with chrome wheels and a wood steering wheel. GM.
Here's a question for you.
What?
You know how there's a certain, and I do not mean this by like socioeconomic class, well, maybe a little bit socioeconomic, but nothing to do with race or anything like that. But there's a certain type
so scared of what you're going to say.
Person in place that you see like 15-year-olds like Chargers being driven around on like rims and everything. They just like around Detroit, like just like left on the side of the road or like, you know, doing takeovers or whatever, like those sort of things. How are those type of people going to use Hummers in 15 years? Because they're going to have them charged up.
No, they're going to be using the 30-year-old Hummers still.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
As will all normal people that like to have...
Because it's
one thing... don't want to have deal with electric.
You're right. Because if you, say, like live in an apartment or like a trap house or something like that, you could at least run an extension cable out to charge up something. What? It's true. It's true. You can't take a stolen charger down to a gas station if it's electric.
That's true.
Although I suppose you could hit up a DC fast charger. But then if it's stolen, you're sitting there for 40 minutes, like trying to charge it up, like looking around.
I suppose they could ditch it at the charger, and then if no one comes and gets it, then they can go back and take it.
So really, once cars are all electric, the federales can just look for stolen vehicles at EV chargers.
At the charging stations, yeah.
Well, actually, I do think from many times that I've heard about cars being stolen, they just get joyridden until they either break or run out of gas.
Most of the Kias, definitely. The Chargers and Challengers, people part out quite a bit. Unless they crash them first.
Here's the Daily Motor top tip. If you're driving somewhere where you're worried that your Hummer might get nicked, drive around with a low enough charge level that they won't be able to get back to their chop shop.
Which won't be hard because you can drive a very short distance. Although the Hummer is inefficient in the way that it has a pretty good range, but the battery's massive.
It's huge. It's double to triple the size of most other EVs.
Right.
Even the Lightning.
That's great. No, I love that. I love that because Hummers should be horribly inefficient.
That's what people don't understand is the Hummer should be the most ridiculous vehicle on the road.
Right.
Yeah. And it's still, I mean, think about the Hummer H1. How did the world not lose its collective mind that that was a vehicle that a pedestrian could go and purchase?
Those are worth a lot of money now, too.
But they're worth a ton of money. They were expensive to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
They're absolute aircraft carriers on the road.
Yeah.
And yet people get mad now about what GMC Sierra Denali's. And yet we were
that's
somehow
right.
okay with the Hummer H1 Alpha existing.
All the people that are triggered on Twitter, this truck should be illegal. How dare they?
Do you not remember the 2000s?
This is why we need buses. Okay, we need more buses and trains. So then all of those people can get on their buses and trains with their kids that don't look both ways and not get run over by trucks.
Sure. They can just stay out of our way.
Don't worry about us. Let us drive our GMC Denali's.
Yeah.
And if you send your child out without supervising them and they walk in front of the truck, they could walk in front of any vehicle. And I think what their main point was is in a parking lot when you're going from stationary. Because there's no argument to be made about somebody running out on the road and getting run over. They can get run over by any car.
Unless they were arguing pedestrian safety, because some pedantists like to argue that like you should be able to be hit by a car at 10 miles per hour and just kind of fall onto the hood. Whereas that car would actually just push you into the next county.
We're segueing here slightly. I was talking to a product expert / guy that knew everything about the history of Lexus ever at the Lexus event. Very cool guy. And he told me that the LC500 was the Lexus engineers were so set on making that car basically a one-to-one of the concept. Like they wanted it to be as close to the concept as possible. But when they ran the crash test for pedestrian safety, it failed as it was. So they kept the design the exact same, but they added little like explosives in the hood. So if the car detects that you're hitting a pedestrian, the whole hood shifts forward to catch the person.
Whoa. That's awesome.
So they said, we're going to keep this the same as the concept, but we're going to put bombs in the hood so that if you hit a pedestrian, they don't die.
Can we ask Lexus if we can crash an LC500 into a human to test that?
We should.
That'd be excellent.
We should ask them. Maybe one that's at the end of its fleet.
Be like, let's just, under the table, insurance is on the car. Let's
hit Would you want to hit an actual person or a mannequin?
Well, that depends on how much you feel like being hit.
Oh, I'd be the one getting hit.
Certainly.
No, thank you.
I mean,
I'd gladly hit you, though, if you wanted.
If you're going to be hit by any car, wouldn't you want it to be the Lexus?
I would want it to be an
LC500?
LC500, yes. I would.
Yeah. You'd be like, I got hit by a car that caught me.
Right.
Yeah. That's very kind of Lexus. And very badass of them to, do that.
Would you expect anything else from Lexus?
No. I love hearing those kind of behind-the-scenes background stories of
Yeah, I talked to this guy. Wow, what was his name? Eli, maybe? Oh, he was super cool.
Eli, if you're watching and your name's not Eli, I'm
sorry.
Apologize on his behalf.
I'm so bad at names.
That's okay.
But yeah, he super cool dude. He knew so much. He started as a LFA technician, and he went through LFA training, and he's driven multiple LFAs.
So he was your best friend immediately.
He was. He was very, very cool dude. Great mustache as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he an older gentleman?
No, he was like our age.
Well,
he had to have been a little older because he was an LFA tech in 2012 or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's probably in his 30s.
While you were trying to drift your probe around the Lincoln High School parking lot, he was
working
wrenching on an
precisely.
LFA.
He told me that through LFA training, there was like a 800-page book, and they had to go through every page. The master tech had to sign off on every single page. So at the end, you have a book that has like 800 signatures in it, basically, for all the things that you've done, that you've completed on the LFA. That's how precise they were with that car and training the technicians.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that was cool to learn about all the LFA stuff, and we talked about the Savage Geese documentary. He was very familiar. Also, it turned he was familiar with the Topher as well, so that was cool to.
The Topher should drive an LFA.
He needs to. Tedward's driven one. Tedward has like 5 videos on because his buddy owns one, so
each one just starts with.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, I love the LFA.
I know you were quite busy last week, as was I. Oh, all right. Here we go. CoPart.
This all happened at 2 a.m., just so you know. That's how dedicated I am. I was laying in bed last night, and I thought, oh, man, I'm going to need to get a couple cars going. And I picked one out just for you, actually.
Okay. Are awaiting the loading of the CoPart.
That's a Dacia Duster.
Yeah,
That's a Dacia Duster.
We can buy one of those?
No.
Give me a number, Chris.
402 473 43.
It's a pretty different number than usual. I feel like they've usually started with 6s or 7s.
Do they? Maybe this one's been sitting around for a while.
Maybe.
Probably has been.
Aw, it's one of my faves. It's a 2006 Infiniti M45, which means it's the 4.5 liter
4.5 liter V8.
And unfortunately, in 2006, they only made these in rear-wheel drive, but I'd be
That's
okay
sweet,
with
though. You could make it a drift car.
Oh, yeah.
And
have you not heard about the 4-seater drift car of one of these?
I think you told me about it.
Yeah, what's his name? Von Gittin or whatever his name is?
Von Gittin Jr.
Yeah, has a 4-seater
M45.
3 or 4, 45 drift car. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I thought this looked fantastic. I love the wheels. I love
the sport wheels.
I love the lip kit that's on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, surprisingly unriced.
This is like the best Infiniti. I love these.
This was the exact color mine was. I believe it's called pewter of some sort.
It's very much a U color.
Yeah.
Probably
This, I'm sure I've already said this, but it won the car and driver comparo when it came out.
Against what?
Everything in the class: E-Class, A6,
5 Series,
and the Acura RL and the GS.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was the best blend of affordable, sporty. I mean, because Infiniti was essentially Genesis back then.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great interior, very
it's a
nicely
cool
symmetrical, but
what's wrong with it? Minor dents and scratches. It looked like
it's even got the speakers in the seat. Bose
you reviewed one with those, right? Didn't you? Shout out Matthew.
It got like a B. Yeah, only 139,000 miles on it.
I think you should have this. The only sketchy thing is if you go to the seat
it's
picture,
idling fine.
Yeah.
VDC is off though, so something has happened.
And also it looks like the seat airbag is deployed.
Yes.
So I'm wondering what happened.
Yeah, because you'd think there'd have
is the airbag,
or it's just wore out a bunch.
Oh, it could just be worn. Oh, look at somebody.
It's someone large has owned.
Somebody large blew out that seat. Okay, so maybe the seat airbag.
A new seat would not be hard to get. Though.
No.
I loved the amber gauges in this car, and these little halo rings on the outside. You could turn those off if they were too bright for you. You simply
cool.
See it says ring right there.
Oh, you just hit that button.
Very easy to do. Yep.
Very easy and straightforward.
Yep. Yeah, this would be a great car.
Modern society could learn a lot of things from Infiniti in 2006.
Yeah, they really.
Just so
could.
you know.
What do you think that is?
It looks like a panel that's missing.
That's been torn off.
Somebody not very careful owned this car. I bet it stinks in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll pass on that.
1,300 on approval though. It's decent. It's not super cheap. But yeah, very cool car.
Somebody really wants that if the bid's already that high.
Well, the motor itself's probably worth $1,500 or so.
True.
Infiniti V8 back then. Although that motor was in a lot of cars.
That's true. All right. The next one is going to be our race car.
Oh.
362 677 53.
Is it a Lexus?
No.
This is not going to be a race car.
Yes, it is.
It is
for a couple of very good reasons. For one, sport model. Okay. For two, manual gearbox.
Gearbox.
Why would you not want a Honda Fit Sport with a manual?
No, this
one's
is
a little rusty.
This is an excellent car. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but Ben Profit owned one of these.
Tracked it, didn't he?
Yes.
Oh no, he had a Mazda 2 that he tracked.
No,
that was Peter.
That's Peter.
Oh,
Ben, this was his first car, a Honda Fit.
Okay.
From 16 years old, and he owned it until like early 20s or so. He pretty much did what you did with the Cobalt, except he didn't. Well, for one, he didn't buy any other cars.
Yeah.
But then he sold it, which he very much regrets. So further reason for you to keep your Cobalt.
I'm not selling it. There's at this point, especially I've held on to it this long. There's no reason to sell it.
But yeah, it was a great car. He had like kind of put a little bit of go fast bits on it, and it did need a new motor, which is kind of strange for Honda. But he also ripped the heck out of it.
I was gonna say, as a 16-year-old, you know, you just beat the crap out of everything.
Yeah.
Although I didn't really beat on my cars too much as a 16-year-old. I didn't.
No. Well, you also had other cars, like you got a winter beater to literally beat on.
I beat on the Probe, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't beat on the Cobalt very much because I loved it.
Yeah, you could just drive this without like a headlight and stuff on a racetrack. As a race car.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this is nice.
It's a little rusty, but it's cool.
Not that many miles.
You don't usually see them in manual. They're always automatics. So I just thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool. That would fit the bill, if you will.
Okay, I've got a few more, but I don't know if you'd really be interested to see any of them, to be honest.
Well, let's just breeze through them.
Okay, well, let's go one that had a tree fall on it.
Okay.
From one of the recent storms, I assume. 689, 942, 52. I think this had multiple trees fall on it, actually. It's not in a good way.
Ooh, this is an 05 Lexus GX 470.
Yeah, and it's...
I'm assuming it's going to be a bit squished.
Yeah, it's had some trees on it.
Top/roof.
Look at the whole roof is smashed.
Wow. Enhanced vehicle.
They hosed it off.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. You could get a few parts out of it.
It'd be a great parts car. Yeah.
The back at least.
Yeah,
in the interior maybe.
Yeah, the interior you could get. It's got a really nice wood steering wheel. Probably get a couple $100 for that,
GX is a great car. Yeah, that's really been hit hard. That's a heavy tree because that's not a light roof on this car. Like this is a sturdy.
Oh yeah.
Whatever hit that and the roof would have completely squished on like a Honda Fit. Or a Dodge Journey. A Dodge Journey would be flat.
Journey would be like tinfoil.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to see an E90, so I'm not going to show you that.
Thank you.
But I will show you this one final car, which I think might be a good buy.
Okay.
392, 231, 33.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is a 2006 Lincoln Town Car Signature.
Yeah.
I have no idea if Signature is a good thing or not, but it sounds classy.
I think Signature is actually like base model.
Pure sale, current bid $325. So someone has just tossed a little money on there. Only 100,000 miles.
So that's the damage you're looking at.
Yeah, runs and drives. Somehow they think it's worth $9,300. That's quite a bit.
That's a lot. Yeah. Realistically, it's fixed. It's probably worth like $6,000 or $7,000.
Yeah, but it is a late model town car.
It's
only
an
100,000
06,
model
so yeah.
or miles.
No wood steering wheel, which is disappointing. But the interior looks
swap one out.
Quite clean.
Yeah. It is kind of funny how they like kind of tried to modernize the center
area.
area.
I know. It looks like a vertical screen.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of aftermarket support. You just stick a freaking iPad on the dash.
That's the best thing about these Panther bodies is just aftermarket everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. This would be a fun car to buy for like a cheap car CoPart challenge sort of thing.
Yeah, it would be.
Does anyone do CoPart challenges like combined the idea of like cheap car challenge and CoPart buying? Because I know people buy cars on YouTube from CoPart and fix them and everything, and I know people do cheap car challenges on YouTube. But does anyone do both?
Maybe, I don't know. We could do that.
We could.
TFL, if you're watching, don't do it. Don't steal it.
Well, Tommy's gonna be real frustrated with you.
His name's Tommy.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Sorry.
The back seat's in great shape.
Yeah. Well, no one ever sits in the back of those.
Well, don't they get chauffeured around?
They do, but not a tan one with tan interior.
Oh, so you think this is an old man's car?
They're definitely an old man's car.
Okay.
They do actually use those for like the black car service. So those people only sit in the back of, but a tan on tan old man fart one.
Yeah.
No one sits in the back of those unless you are a grandchild.
I could, before we leave, comment on the few Ubers that I was driven around in.
Oh, what were they?
The first one was a Hyundai.
Oh God, were these in foreign countries?
No. They were all in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Santa Fe.
Okay.
Fine.
Yawn.
Mm-hmm. The second one was a Toyota Sienna.
Oh, which I'm sure you loved. It probably smelled disgusting in there.
He had a lot of air freshener going.
Yeah, it smelled
artificially
gross.
The first one, actually, these were out of order because it didn't really matter, but this was actually the first one, was a BMW 5 Series.
Oh, really? Let me guess what generation it was. I'm going to say it was an F10, so like a 2012.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those
are Uber spec now.
Yeah, because it only costs like an extra $1 to get the Comfort Uber.
Yeah, that's usually what I would do in Chicago.
So I got the Comfort one.
That was a pro move. Let me tell you why that was a pro move. In Chicago, when I was living there in 2019, there was the Uber X, there was the Comfort, there was also like a level called Select, and then there was Uber Black.
Yeah.
So you could get the Uber X, for example, say your Uber X is $18, your Comfort is $19, your Select is like $21, and your Black is like $50. But the pro move was either to pick a comfort or a select, because like 80% of the time you get upgraded to an Uber Black, because there'd be no comfort or select cars around, and they're not going to downgrade you to a Uber X if you pay extra. So like 80% of the time I'd get a Suburban. It was great. It was like I'd pay a couple extra bucks and you'd pretty much always get a Uber Black. So that's the pro move.
It is interesting that no manufacturer has come out with a ride share spec vehicle yet.
Well, what would you do? Like, what would you even?
It would be
a plastic partition.
Let's think about this. First of all, let's think about the platform. You'd want something large, so it'd probably be a Toyota Sienna. Start with. You'd start with a Sienna.
Toyota already makes that. It's called the Sienna.
But you'd want it to be a bit smaller than the Sienna, because you want it to be more fuel efficient. You actually kind of want a Toyota Venza, because you want the hybrid
with
powertrain.
minivan doors and seats.
Yes. So what you want is something like the Mazda 5, but with Toyota's hybrid powertrain in it. So maybe a little bit larger version of a Prius V, or like a Toyota Highlander, sort of somewhere.
Whatever happened to the Mazda 5? Why did they stop making that?
People don't want minivans. That's a minivan.
Didn't those come in manual? Mazda 5?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe in Europe, maybe not in America. Are they coming in America?
At least a little bit, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could get those.
Didn't they tease like a Mazda Speed 5 for a second? I feel like they did.
Possibly. But yeah, so you'd want kind of a Mazda 5 Toyota Highlander combination with the hybrid, front wheel drive only, and you would want very basic like passenger accoutrement. Could just be a manual seat up there. The driver's seat should be very squishy, very comfortable, because you're going to be in there for a while. You want power adjusted or power opening doors everywhere that you can control from the front, so minivan style, and from the back thing. But you want an ability to lock the outside, like have the doors be locked from the outside, but not the inside, which I guess is pretty standard. But you'd want to disable the feature where, like, when you put it in park, that it unlocks, because you want to be able to open the door for your Uber passengers, so they're not slamming them and everything and breaking them.
Right.
You want it obviously to be very, very fuel efficient, very large gas tank, because you don't want to be stopping and everything like that. Very low load surface in the back, and probably not a third row. Probably just want like a 5-seater setup, but a lot of trunk space. Oh, and you need power points like everywhere, and like 4 for just the driver.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you are a car manufacturer, Charlie has just solved the ride sharing. He's given you the formioli.
Kind of like how there's the London taxi.
Ravioli, give me the formioli. Formioli.
Like the London taxi. It's a specifically designed car for that.
For London and taxiing. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to episode Real 63 of the Daily Motor Podcast, not that fake 63 from last week.
Fake 63 was fake and it had no audio.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that.
Pretty bad episode. Real 63 here, coming in clutch. Hopefully Chris didn't just jinx us.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be back at you next week after Charlie has been very well exhausted, because
Charlie's going to be a tired boy.
I am coming in on a red eye from the GMC flight, getting some sort of sleep somewhere, then leaving about 12 o'clock noon in the X7 to drive up north.
Does the X7 have lane keep and driving? Will it drive for you?
I don't know, but I might use wife mode, and I might simply sleep in the passenger seat.
Oh, make Alyssa drive.
Yeah, that'd be great. She would appreciate that. Yeah. So next week's episode will be interesting. We'll get to hear about the RZ. We'll get to hear about the Pilot and the X7 and some mystery vehicles. Although I think we're getting a Kia Soul next week.
No.
No?
Kia Soul's in 2 weeks. I think we have like a Niro hybrid or something.
I think, I might just say Niro. It's probably the hybrid version. And we'll be back at you then.
Hold on, viewers. Hold on for a second. I'll tell you what we have. Oh, no, I was wrong. M340i.
Oh. Yahar?
There's no Yahar M340i.
Oh. Is it the
It'll have the special badge. No, M340i, not M3.
But they don't do an orange one of that? I thought the one you drove in...
No, it was red. It was...
That's right. I remember driving that one.
Yeah, it was whatever the regular red color is.
We're Paris and Nicole from Daily Motor, and as always, don't educate yourself before driving a 911 on.
Nice to bring that back for the end. It's good.